Hello and welcome to another video. So today we're taking a look at Loki Shadow. This was a thought idea that came from Glow from the Shadownexus Discord chat thing, all that stuff. Anyway, basically the idea is to use the Loki to trigger Death Dragon Caller's effect twice. Being a fan for Reanimate 10, you can actually gain double Loki on turn 9 and then basically follow up with double So Death Rape Life on turn 10. That was kind of the gauge that we're aiming for, so that's exactly what I wanted to do with this deck, and that's what we're going to achieve. So we'll check it out, we'll go right into some games and see how we do. So our first opponent is Rune. There wasn't much else to say about this deck. It functions almost identically to all my other Reanimate Shadows except for your turn setup. So you're really pushing to have your Zeus done before turn 7. If worst case scenario you have to get it on turn 7, that's what you aim for. Really hard mellowing for it like we just did there to get Gloomy and Zeus is ideal, but not entirely necessary because you do still have 6 turns of setup and nice amounts of draw power and clearing power to really set your board up over those turns. So this hand is absolutely crazy. Double Gloomy Necromancer left over means we basically only use one Gloomy on the other Gloomy to get extra draw. There's no real other use for them, so that's probably how we have to go with this hand. Opponent not doing much at all, and we have no other play than to just Gloomy into Gloomy. Don't want to waste the Aisha, as that's still a really solid card, even though I'm not the biggest fan of it. Not right now anyway, not in this variant of deck. Mainly because you're aiming for the Loki combo, so Aisha kind of takes a back seat as just kind of a extra win con, not your main win con. Double Zombie Party, gonna work nicely, especially since this does appear to be a Daria deck. Daria can be a little bit of trouble if they get an ideal curve, but you can curve out almost as well with this deck, as long as you get a good amount of draw power. Not so lucky, they negate my decent draws, but we got some tricks up our sleeves still. The Zombie Party, Lurching Corpse, couple damage to their face, putting them closer and closer to that Zeus death range. All we need is a Dragon Caller and we will be set.
It won't be long now.
So Guardian Golem trying to block us out. Not really doing much. I mean, Lurching trades into it basically on its own with no real issue. And from there I actually don't have a play, so it might have just been better to play the Zombie Party, although saving the Zombie Party does give me a chance to play it on turn 7, which I think was the better option because it means I can easily play any card I want after that, just because those zombies will put such a threat onto the board, especially in a Daria matchup where you need threats. And perfect, turn 7 drawing that Death Dragon Caller. The Loki Death Dragon Caller combo is now complete. All we have to do is pull it off by playing Loki on 8 and Dragon Caller on 9. Really couldn't ask for a much better setup.
It's knowledge I seek.
Of course they try and spell boost as much as they can so they can at least try and survive. Trying so desperately not to die.
You can teach me nothing.
So we get our nice Loki setup turn pretty easily. We could also evolve that Loki, sending it to the 3/3, which will allow us to go for 4 more damage to face if we want to. Honestly, if I was playing a little less cautiously, I would have sent all of it to face to basically guarantee lethal next turn. But I ended up taking it the safe route and clearing that out just in case they somehow had a massive swing ward turn that would just be hard for me to get over. I didn't really want that extra follower on board. Daria is just one of those classes where something like that could really mess you up. Lucky for me, no such thing really happens, and with double Zeus and 2 damage on board anyway, we have ourselves a lethal. Our opponent doesn't stand a chance against the god. Following our previous matchup, we've got Portalcraft as our opponent. Portal presents some interesting challenges when you're playing Reanimate, just because they can aggro you down quickly, which isn't out of Portal's range if you know what you're doing with the class, then it can be very hard to build your board state enough that you can start swinging turns at turn 7. Although, since Portal is slightly slower than what you would consider something like Aggro Forest and Aggro Sword, you do have a nice chance to build that and get to turn 7, because once you do, Underworld Watchman and other cards really can swing the game in your favour massively, no matter the matchup. Although Portal does have a lot of clearing power, making Zeus not quite as strong as it probably is against other classes. As even one Zeus, while would present a massive ward for other classes, Portal can usually just rush that down very quickly. So going for a little clunky play there, trading into my Lurching Corpse, at least it does remove one card from the game, so I'll take the win where I can get one. I do just decide to throw the other Lurching, mainly so I can at least throw something down next turn, probably looking at the Ceres as the best choice, because the 2 damage ping will kill off the 3-1 quite effectively. And of course, Pure Hearted Singer. Can't go wrong with that card at all. Especially turn 5 when we can drop Peacock first. Should work out nicely. Planning in advance is always the best course of action. So double Icarus from our opponent. Not much to say about that. I mean, double Icarus is kind of what you want. But they do decide to stay in Resonance, which I felt was a little weird. I personally would have evolved so that they could have gained the advantage next turn. No matter what they did, they could have at least had a really nice turn. But, it's to our advantage. We get to kill both these Icaruses pretty well. And go face. I wonder if it would be Icaruses or Icarusi. Questions we have every day, people. Deus Ex Machina coming down to the board. This is why I expected them to want to be out of Resonance last turn, so they could be in Resonance this turn. Not their style, obviously, so that's fine with me. We are going to get a pretty easy trade-off. I mean, not now because they did that, but we have a chance. Demon Eater isn't really that chance. But Ceres? That one kind of is. So Demon Eater is going to be a massive amount of draw power. We're really searching for that Zeus. And we found him. And a Loki. So we're only one key card short from setting up our ultimate combo. And we already have a So Death Reap Life, so turn 10 is looking pretty promising as well. Also, fun note, Ceres really messes Portal up. Like, not being able to trade into that with artifacts is really difficult, which is most likely why they played another Machina here, so they could clear that Ceres this turn. Really screwing it over. Lucky for me, not really going to matter. Turn 7, plenty of options. Firstly, gotta play the Gloomy Necromancer. We've gotta remove the Zeus from our hand. Since we don't have Aisha, I'm not too concerned with playing the Soulsquasher and losing our shadows, because we still have 3. We've got 4 followers on board, that will leave us with 7. By the time we play one decent Loki and Zeus turn, we should have more than enough to activate it again. And we already have, now we have both. So Death, Reap Life, we have triple Underworld, so if we need to stall, we can. And the Loki into the next turn is more than enough to really hold this board steady. And perfect draw off the top. Death Dragon Caller. This is pretty much exactly where you want your hand to be on turn 7. You can go into Loki. The board isn't too crowded, it isn't overstacked, which means your opponent isn't going to deal with you too well. We can quite easily go into So Death, Reap Life on turn 10, which will make it very easy for us to basically deal 20 damage over those turns. The only risk is our opponent playing a ward, which so far we haven't seen any, but doesn't mean it's out of the question. So getting a little trade worked out pretty well. I mean, that draw, while gonna overdraw us next turn, worked in our favour just enough, I think. Alright, turn 9 coming up soon. That Death Dragon Caller, just sitting there waiting for its moment to double summon Zeus to the board. So even with their crazy amount of damage that turn, how do they deal with 20 health followers? Like, how do you deal with that? Especially when they also push 10 damage to the face. And when we're following that up with Sow Death, Reap Life, questions really start to stack up. So, kinda lucky for them, they did have that ward on hand, which means my next turn's going to be a little more awkward. Especially if they clear this, which I expect them to do. I mean, they have played a lot of cards, they've played a lot of artifacts. I expect that they'll be able to deal with these reasonably efficiently. Especially when they have Acceleradium on board. Even if it is their last turn with Acceleradium. So the 4-2 and, alright, an Analyzing Artifact, that's enough to clear me out. They also get to keep their 10 play points, so if they had have had a Beast here, I would have probably got absolutely destroyed. Synthetic Beast would have wrecked me. Lucky for me, no Synthetic Beast drops. My next turn though, looking pretty promising. So Death, Reap Life twice, 7 damage to the face, 1 health left for them. I just can't pass that up. If only I could have got rid of this ward and just dealt 10 to their face though, it would have been so much better. So I did weigh up the option of trading the 2-2 into the 2-1 and decided, if they can win, they win. If not, then we've just absolutely killed them with these gods here. Ancient Artifacts. Alright. Pretty happy so far. Radiant Artifact. Into... so there's only has 6 health left. 1 Ancient Artifact. Have you got one more? That's all you need, isn't it? One more Ancient Artifact. Going for the draw. And it looks like they run out of Ancient Artifacts. How unlucky for them. So this deck was some great fun, honestly. I'm really glad that we've thrown it together and it works, surprisingly. While it might not be the best deck, and I don't think Loki deserves a spot in Reanimate Shadow, it makes the deck 10 times more fun. I mean, slamming Loki and then just slamming Zeus over and over and over again, there's not a better feeling in the world than that at the moment. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hit the like button, subscribe, check out the link in the description below if you're interested in this deck, and I'll catch you guys next time. See ya.